Hey everyone, welcome back again to the video tutorial number 2 where we are learning about variable constants and data type. So what we have already gone through is like different ways of declaring a variable in Golang, understanding the constants and what are the ways to declare a constant, and Go type system and basics data types and composite data types. In composite we have learned about arrays, slices, maps and structs. There is one thing which is still pending, couple of things if I'm not wrong. So those are like pointers and zero values that is being assigned to the variables by Golang. So let us go through pointers again, since we haven't completed it in the previous one, right? So yes. So what are the pointers? Pointers are basically a special type of variables that contains the memory address of a variable, right? So say if I have a variable called value which contains an integer 42 as a value, right? So if I want to point it to its variable to its memory address, I need to have a variable of type pointer. So how we create a pointer type variable is using asterisk, right? And then the type of variable, type of value that it is going to hold. And then what we are going to do is like declaring a variable value and assigning the value 42, and then pointer we are assigning using ampersand, we are assigning the memory address of value, right? So this is the memory address of the value we are assigning to pointer. If we want to dereference using this pointer, if we want to get the actual variable that has been stored or actual value that has been stored for this particular variable, we'll have to again use ampersand, and this is called the dereferencing. Where it is very useful in the fast application where it has to be super fast in order to do some sort of calculation and reading memories and reading variables and all those stuff, then we don't want to look for the memory address and then get the value out of it. Rather, we store the memory address directly in a variable and we just access it at the runtime. So if I just let it run over here, so you can see the print statement over here at the right corner. So the value, the first one we are printing is the value itself, and then pointer, and then dereferencing of this pointer. So value is 42, the pointer's address, this is the memory address where value has been stored, and this is the dereferencing using the pointer. So this is how pointer works in Golang. Now let's go to the next part, which is zero value. What is zero value means actually? It is a default value for uninitialized variables. So say you are declaring different type of variables, right? But you are not initializing any value, or you can say you're not storing any value in it. So in Java, we know that it throws null pointer exception stating that this particular value, this particular variable is not yet initialized. But in Golang, it takes care of it, and it basically adds a zero value to it. So we are going to take a look at all the types of variables and what is the zero value that has been stored in it, right? So let's take a look. I'm putting the debugger pointer over here so that we can straightforward go to there. So for integer, it is going to be 0. You can see over here. And let's check for the float. So float is going to be 0.00000, right? And the next one is for string, which is going to be an empty string, and boolean, it is going to be always false, right? ZeroSlice, it is going to be an empty, right? Empty slice, it is going to initialize an empty array or empty slice to be precise, and it assigns to that variable. Zero map is going to be an empty map, and again zero pointer is going to be pointing to nothing, so it is going to be nil, right? So what are nil is true, you can see over here, and apart from that, all those variables will be assigned to a particular variable, particular value, which is the zero value. So ZeroSlice equals to nil, you are simply saying that yes, we will get a nil over here. Now let's discuss about the type conversion. Conversion basically means if you want to convert float to integer or vice versa, or with any other string value if you want to convert to integer. So for Golang, it is very fantastic feature that makes program more predictable in zero values that we already learned. And now I'm going to tell you about the explicit type conversion. So you cannot implicitly convert one type to another. You will have to just make note of that. You cannot implicitly convert one type to another, though it might be looking same, like you can int 64 you can int 8 you can convert to int 64, or maybe you can convert float 64 to int. That is not possible in Golang. So you'll have to explicitly convert it, right? So how do you convert it? So in order to convert it, you use the target type as a function over here, right? So let us go through it. Let me run it and then take a look. So if I want integer to be converted to float, so I'm going to use float 64 as a function and pass integer value there. It will be converted to a float value. Again, if I want it to be in a string, so fmt.Printf, and then here we are going to convert this particular integer to a string. If I print it out, then you will see original integer is 42 converted to float, and you will get 42.000, etc. And if you convert to a string, then you will get a string 42 in a string. Now let's look at the last topic of this particular session, or you can say this particular I just want to wrap it up in this one, right? So multiple variable declaration. So you can declare multiple variables in a single line. So this is how you can do it. So here we are saying XYZ all are of type int, and here we are assigning the variable, right? ABC, and we are using shorthand to initialize the variable, and here we are not assigning, we are not using the var. So whatever value we are going to assign to these variables, the variable would become of that type, right? So let's take a look how it prints out. So you can see over here XYZ all are storing the integer, and the next one, it is a string, and then this one is float, and then this is a variable, boolean. So this is how we basically declare multiple variables in a single line, right? So this is all for this video. We'll see you in the next one.